Okie dokie. Here we go. Hello, everybody, and happy whatever day of the week it is currently in your time zone. Basically, we are here though. We are back. We are in here like swimwear. It is the third episode of the Reconnect with your teenager podcast with yours truly, Emma G. Reconnect with your teenager is a podcast that I created a couple of weeks back, actually, because I decided, given that I have been now working in the youth empowerment and development sector for, 10 years now, and I now have a book called Reconnect with Your Teenager, it was time that I dive into the world of youth development even further and connect with other like-minded human beings from around the world who are also using their platforms, their unique voices, their magic, their might, their fantastic differences to empower, encourage, enlighten, and help other young people step into their power when it comes to navigating 2023 or the post-COVID world or whatever you want to call it. So today, I am so happy to be joined all the way from Colorado, Ms. Shanta Tumawu. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, you are. Thank you, Emma. It's my pleasure.
Yay! I can't even imagine how cold it must be in Colorado right now. I am here in Washington, D.C., and it is not my ideal weather conditions. How are things over in Colorado going?
It's going beautiful for now.
For now. I love Colorado. I'm not going to lie, but I was there during the summer months a few years back when I wrote a song called Superhero because I was so inspired by the state. But I just, the winter, no, not fun in the mountains for me. I hope that you're staying warm.
I am.
Especially considering you're about to welcome your first nephew or
yes,
I'm excited for you.
I'm so excited.
Congratulations to your siblings. That's so exciting.
Thank you.
Cool. So tell me a little bit about yourself. You are like when I reached out to people wanting to about youth empowerment and the youth development, your approach, much like mine, is very different than what people normally think of when they think of youth empowerment, youth coaching. You have completely flipped the script, and which is great because I'm a firm believer in using your superpowers to, activate and encourage and inspire young people. But you, my love, have a completely different approach because you're a social entrepreneur and you sell luxury handbags to eradicate poverty among young women and girls, specifically amongst the USA, as well as East Africa, West Africa, South Asia, and of course, South Africa as well. Tell me, this world of Destiny tote bags, how did this come? I'm so confused. Tote the Destiny boutique. What is this? Tell me more about how you stumbled across this really niche market.
Well, thank you, my love, for celebrating me.
Yes. Is there any other way to be? Let's be real for a minute. Come on now.
Thank you, sis. Well, for once and for all, let's go way back into 2016. Yay!
Okay.
And so basically, it started out as events, hosting events for young girls. That was pretty much up in the air about their ages as well. I really didn't have a plan. And so with that, when you don't really just have a plan and you just have a vision, you need a lot of strategy. You need a lot of basically guidance. Okay. And so I knew I had this idea to have events for young girls and call it Hope the Destiny. That is a name that God gave me out of my sleep one night. And basically, I took off with it and I ran with it and I started creating these events for young girls. And two of them that were the most that I've done the most seasonally was the expo part and the pajama party. But the expo part, it basically ended up me giving girls bags, trying to get women from the church that I was attending at the time, my friends I worked with, family, whoever that woman was, I invited her to the event and we will set up and just teach life skills and let the girls walk around with the money, fake money. We call them destiny books. And so after I did that, that's when I went into pretty much having a world mindset to have some type of ideal of improving substantial development all over the world. And I will start traveling and I start looking at how people were struggling in other countries, specifically women, and the issues going on with young girls in certain countries. It was like, aching my heart, and especially with someone who has a background who's been sexually assaulted and raped. And so pretty much I was just like, I don't have a business model. I don't really know how I'm going to get the funds to provide, to solve the problems that I see right in front of me. And so that's pretty much how I came up with, you know what, I'm going to sell luxury handbags. I'm going to start off selling handbags that are leather, and because that's luxury, right? And so I said I'm going to use that first, and then I'm going to go into customizing my own handbags, and which that is en route. But right now that's what I'm doing. I'm selling handbags because I'm thinking to myself, wow, I'm really cool. Like, I'm really dope. Like, I'm not going to sleep on myself. Like, I used to be so humble, to the fact that I was so humble. I noticed that it wasn't humility. It was actually self-sabotaging myself. And a lot of times young women, well, actually teenagers, they are self-sabotaging themselves, sleeping on themselves, not really feeling like they equal up to be anything or do anything. That's something that you battle with as a teen. Been there, done that. And so, that's pretty much how that came to be. I started hosting events for girls, traveling to different states, basically linking up with whoever at the time. However, because I learned that it's not about just looking at somebody and just being like, every person I come across, I'm like, how can we work together? What can we do? It's that mindset that you have when you're on a mission, and just let go of all judgmental thoughts and prejudices against people. And so that's pretty much how it came to be that I'm going to sell tote bags. Now, it's been time to time that I will roll out the tote bags. I will roll out just like different goods to sell, fashion items, accessories to sell, just to get by with my program, just to get by, to say like, okay, I need to make this amount of money so that my events can stay free. But now I'm at the point, I've been doing this since 2016. And so, for everything, if you want to maintain your happiness, it requires a lot of growth. So to maintain my happiness, I decided that I'm not going to be stressful doing what God has given me to do. I'm going to implement the right business model that I need to implement to make sure that this is successful and it's not a flop. And so I call this year the Picture Perfect Year, simply because this is the year that I take off with my annual reports. This is the year that I really just show the public things that I've been doing since 2016, since 2018. So that's pretty much how it came to be that I was going to sell these luxury bags.
That's awesome. So there's two things that I want to sort of talk about. One, like the fact that you are using entrepreneurship and sort of spreading that focus with the young people that you're working with as well, young girls and young women that you're working with, because I mean, the argument is obviously that, every successful child is one caring adult away, and teaching. In fact, when I was presenting my TEDx talk last year, there was another speaker there who made the suggestion that in order to raise a successful next generation, we need to teach them how to be entrepreneurs as well. Is that the kind of stuff that you're teaching young women when it comes to the mentorship program that you're running?
Yes, it definitely is. Right now, I actually have two young women that are. I have two young women, but I have one grown woman, a woman who I'm working with as far as, well, I'm working with her to start and create a fashion school for young girls or young mothers or women who are victims of domestic violence or sexual assault to come in to learn how to sew, coming in to learn how to do fashion. Two of the most prominent, dominant fashion fields, well, fashion that comes, well, let me rephrase that. Two other places in Africa that are great with fashion is Congo and Ghana. So therefore, the lady that I'm
Facts.
with, she lives in South Africa, but she's of Congolese. So I'm working with her. I was just there teaching entrepreneurship at her retreat, like back in October. And so we have drafted into creating free e-courses for women in South Africa, and to use the proceeds of any other woman from a background of a developed country or the West world. They could, if they're new entrepreneurs or they just want to bless someone or pay it forward to someone to purchase the courses, this will go to what we are doing as far as a partnership, okay, to help entrepreneurship with the fashion designing, give these mothers and these young girls work. And we're going to sell those items at the Tote Destiny boutique, okay? And so, yes, we do teach that at the academy. One of my own baby sister, she is an entrepreneur, and she is 16 years old. She's an entrepreneur. So she does hair, she does nails, she does makeup. She is teaching herself how to do these things. Of course, yes, she's going to go to school one day and do these things. But yes, we do have that going on. Also, I have a young lady in Kenya who I've given a role to be a regional manager over the Tote the Destiny Academy in Kenya. So she's going to learn how to register her own school setting to the government, learning how to build her own site, do her own marketing, do her own business planning with these things. So, and recruit her own team and recruit her own students to come into the academy. Okay, so we're doing those type of things, but we're also offering creative writing, teaching resiliency, leadership, community service, STEAM projects, graphic designing using Canva, and computer technology with simple things, starting off with Google, of course, self-image, self-care, financial literacy. We're teaching college preparation, career development, travel, and child development. So those are some things that you get from this academy, because what I'm doing is I'm adhering to the 2030 agenda for substantial development. Okay. And so I'm covering a lot with that. And so with that being said, it's causing me to do my own curriculum. I do have a background of early childhood education. So with that being said, why not use what I have, like I've been doing the whole time, actually.
Yeah.
Using what I have to build on it with whoever wants to join in. Because I've learned that, and this is what I love about Generation Z. They are vocational learners, okay? Yeah. They remind you of the old school. They're willing to go to work the job, to be achievers. I just, you just get that from them. And so that's pretty much a model that I'm using, vocational discipleship, to do these things. Now, I am a Christian woman, and I do have Christian values, and I am an evangelist myself. And so therefore, I welcome everybody to my program, but those are kind of my stepping stones, my foundation for what I'm developing and what I'm building. And so with that being said, yes, we do cover entrepreneurship and things of that nature, because that is pretty much where, if you ever went to a developing country, you will see that most people in those countries are entrepreneurs, because the jobs are not really there, and they're not substantial, or they're not really quick to get. So
yeah,
my idea in my mind is they already have the skills to say, okay, nobody's going to come put money in my pocket. I have to work for myself. But when you see them working, they're only making $200 a month. They're only making $300 a month. They're only making less than $500 a month. Okay, so what is that gonna do for them? That's not gonna help you get ahead. That's not gonna help you cultivate where from you are, wherever you're at the moment. So what the advantage is for this is this right here. Most of the children, most of the this is just honesty. Most of the children and most of where we're going today with the high rise of the generation, most of these children are African children. Okay, the fertility rate is been high and is getting higher. More so, won't go anywhere. And so that is one of my missions on the continent of Africa, is to prepare these girls and help women who are African prepare the girls that are around them, and to team up with them and do international business, do international trading, and using the arbitrage business system, okay? Which is meaning that, like I said, we have the partnership going on with the fashion designing school that we're implementing. We're buying it from them, and we're selling it in the States. And this money funnels back into supporting the mission of Tote the Destiny overall, but it also gives them that salary that says, hey, I'm not making $200 in a month anymore. I'm getting $800 and $900, because this is how it's eradicating poverty out of their lives. Because every time I go to a country in Africa, every time I go and spend time with my sisters and labor with my sisters on that continent, and my brothers as well, I see people who are unique. I see people who are creative. I see people who have that eye and have that touch and can do all this technology and do all this great artwork and dancing and all of those things. But yet still, there is still a lack of funds in their life that they need to get ahead and to build their families. So
I'm hearing like a lot of what you're talking about. It's awesome. I like, because your approach to empowering young women specifically, and girls, from what I'm gathering from what you're saying, is very centered around leading by example and guiding them to not just, understand and celebrate their culture, which is so important in today's world, because I obtained my teaching qualifications and did the beginning years of my youth work career in New Zealand, where culture is the basis for youth development and education. And so what you're doing is you're really taking that culture and using that as a superpower to then help them build a life, but also, look at how they can feed back into their own communities, families, so on and so forth. I do have one question. Now, you mentioned, like, in passing, about, how a lot of the work that you're doing was sort of launched because you yourself are a survivor of abuse and trauma. Is there like is that kind of one of the things you focus on with the young women that you're working with, is helping them to gain independence and develop their voice when in the face of traumatic events, abuses, or circumstances?
Okay, I'm gonna say this here. Okay, I'm a foreign woman.
Wait, what? Are you serious? I had no idea.
I'm a
Snap,
foreign
crackle, pop. I
woman
see you.
working in foreign countries. Although my wonderful, fantastic husband is an African, he is Ghanaian, Ghanaian. I would love to have I would love to be more vocal that I can as I am in the USA. Okay. I would love to do that. I would
I
love to do
understand.
that. I would
I
love to do that.
understand.
But that's not wisdom and it's not safe. But I
Right.
tell you one thing that I can do, I am actually planning to implement some type of structure of transition and co-working homes. And this is why the importance of these bags selling to me. But not only
Mhm.
that, but this will allow there to be a safe place for girls to come who have been in my predicament, who have experienced what I've experienced. I was talking to a woman, a sister of mine in Nigeria, and she
Mhm.
worked. She has an
Oh,
girls. She works with an initiative for girls, mentoring girls over there. My
okay.
agenda as a foreigner is not to go in and take from what's already established. My initiative as a foreign woman doing the work to help these girls and these women who are empowering these girls is to go in and to assist them, partner with them, pull my up and
Oh,
work.
I hear you. I hear
And so
because
what I can do, I can talk to them individually and I can teach them, coach them, love on them, give them a brand new beginning of my story. Yes, the events as far as coming to events, getting into that empowerment mindset, that's all good. And I learned this by implementing my own program. That's all good. These girls are coming, they're getting stuff free, they're having a unique time of their life, and Lord knows that some of these girls have never had any type of bath and body works and any type of new panties and all these things. And I love that. I love that about it. But what happens when they leave? And so
right,
therefore,
right.
even these women who are over there doing the work and working with these young girls who have been molested, raped, and all of these things in these situations, there is only so much they have been able to do. So we're taking it up a notch. And what we're doing is we're trying to implement a way for there to be transition homes to where they're able to stay in those homes over 5 year period. Because we know that traditionally it takes at least 5 years to get a business where you want it to go and where you need it to
Amen.
be. So we want them to be there 5 years. We want people to come in, women to come in on missions and be with them, cultivating them, coaching them, spending time with them. Those girls between not age, not as necessarily age, but the amount of girls being 5 to 10, and that way that they can have that mentor one-on-one, strengthening them, helping them getting that healing that they need, that coaching, getting that mindset of overcoming. And that way, by the time it's ready for them to leave that transition home, they know enough they would have enough to go and get their own place. They will have enough to go about knowledge of how to travel internationally, and they will have enough knowledge to have a substantial income coming in their way and in their life. So that's how I address those issues.
I love that. I love
And
that.
just being able to jumpstart a campaign, which I'm working with two fabulous ladies in Nigeria to do so, because I had no idea that even in Nigeria a young girl, a man can die on a young girl with and a man who has used Viagra can die on a young girl. If he dies on that young girl, she goes to jail and she's framed for his murder.
Mm.
And so no one's able to fight those. They don't have the money to fight those cases. So the young girl, she stays in jail. And even in Ghana, there's even a campaign going on to a much of saying that when a young girl gets raped, even though it's a Ghanaian law, that if she goes to the hospital, she's supposed to be able to get a rape kit for free. But that's not the case. She still has to pay. So how can a young girl from a slum or a rural area afford to get a rape kit And when she only makes less than $150 a month.
Right.
You see, so
yeah. I mean, you're addressing some really difficult topics, and I want to go back to you talking about how you're an immigrant in this country, and so like it's and even I mean, you were born here in the States.
I was born here. I married my husband is Ghanaian, and I married my husband. I moved to Ghana. I've been back and forth for some time now, and so that is pretty much how they roll.
So sorry, my cat's tail is getting in my face.
Yeah, okay.
No, that's that. I mean, the only reason I'm asking that because obviously, if you can't tell by my accent, I was not born here. My mother's from Pennsylvania, but I was born in New Zealand. And the only reason I'm asking specifically about your where you were born is because from the jump you recognize that you said an immigrant, or you're not you sort of you travel, and I often am fascinated by how so many people like us women of color have this ability to utilize culture almost as a superpower and like a secret sort of passport to access those difficult conversations and to really get into those cultural spaces that really need some support and guidance and love and leadership, and being able to then use that to help these young women. Well, I say young women, you work with a very wide range of people from the ages of 5 to 30. Yeah. So I say young women kind of loosely. We've only got a couple more minutes, but I want to touch really quickly on, given that you do work with such a wide variety of ages, specifically in the entrepreneurial space. Why 5 to 30, and how does that look when these young women are coming to you for guidance, for support?
Well, 5 to 30 was to me because I mean it came to me because for the simple fact that don't leave her behind. I don't know, but it just kept coming to me. Don't leave them behind. Don't leave them behind. If they know how to walk, if they know how to talk, get them and grab them in, okay? And so lock them in. And so basically I was thinking about flowers, which is why in the academy, I broke the ages down to groups. 5 to 12, which is the daisies. 13 to 19 is the sunflowers. 20 to 30 is the roses. I did that. And the quote, and I don't know who quote is, but it ain't my quote. And the quote says, a flower does not think of competing with the flower next to it. It just blooms.
Amen.
And that's what I got out of that. But what I also got out of that is that our older girls, I say our older girls, because this is not a I thing. This is not an I thing. This is a we thing. Mm-hmm. We have to teach our girls at a young age, even at 5, what is it that they need to know about keeping themselves safe, and to know that you could tell if someone is bothering you. Mm-hmm. You can tell if this is happening, just being able to speak and being able to say, this is what's going on with me. I mean, I don't care what it is. And so to be that young and just to be around the other girls, because you thinking a 5-year-old, she's around 12-year-old, she's around 10-year-old, she's in the mix. So she's peer learning, and as you can see, the younger girl, the older girls, even though she's 12, she's able to help the 5-year-old. She's able to, color with that 5-year-old. She's able to make something with that 5-year-old. And if you think about it, you can learn at any age, so that is a time where instead of making sure that trauma is instilled in the child at that age, let's make sure that happiness is instilled in that child at that age. And let's make sure that resilience is instilled in that child at that age. And even though you're 30 years old, baby, you still gotta learn some stuff. You still got a mile to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's a saying that, like, happiness is growing. is continuing to grow. Sorry, carry on, please.
No, you're okay. You're okay. And so that's why I just said, look, because I know that even when I started Talk to Destiny, that was something that's a mindset. And I'm just now learning that as I've grown, is that Talk to Destiny was a mindset. You know, people looked at me and they probably looked at me like, she just a Christian girl who talk about Jesus. And they probably even looked at me and they counted me out. They looked at me probably even on jobs that I had and just labeled me as whatever, you know, da 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 da, or or in church. You know, I've been counted out in so many places that was local, that was in my own state, you know, in my own city. And to the point to where it's like, don't worry, okay? I'm about to give you the world. And that's basically what happened to me. You know,
Right.
I'm literally giving the world. You know, I have access to Kenya. I have access to Ghana. I have access to Mozambique. I have access to Congo. I have access to Ghana, Nigeria, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, you know, Dubai, Turkey. You have Jamaica. I got access, you know. So with people that are wanting what I have to give. And so, like, right now, I just would like to say that before we end, if you have any questions, that's fine. But I would just like to say that, you know, to anybody who's working with young people, anybody who wants to work with young people, all it takes is your authentic self. Give them your authentic, give them that authentic child, that authentic teen that nobody else was able to receive, that nobody else received from you when you were the one that was a teen that was worried, but you held it in. So now you're that dog that's dysfunctional, and you was that teen that was never able to express yourself. And so now you don't even know where to start of going to look at resources, you know. And one thing about Talk to Destiny, I wanted the girls to know that, look, you have resources around you. You know, I wanted them to know that. And so, but also I wanted them to know about God. I wanted them to know that they were made in God's image and that God provides for them, because you're looking at a millionaire, but you're also looking at a woman of abundance. You're also talking to a woman of abundance and a woman of God and a woman that's made in God's image. Because when you know who you are and you know your identity, you know that you were created to create and to be successful. And everything that you create times two, it will multiply and it will spread and it will manifest into nothing but good, incredible results and everything above. So that's pretty much.
I love it.
Pretty much where I am with that.
Thank you so much, Shanta. You have so much energy and so much passion for what you do. I am so inspired, and I can't wait to see what happens next with the Tote the Destiny Academy and the handbags and the boutique and everything you're doing. It's phenomenal. Giving back, you know, using your voice, using your leadership, using your entrepreneurial journey to inspire and empower young women, specifically around the world, is fantastic, particularly around, you know, Africa and Asia. Unfortunately, I mean, we could talk for hours, I have no doubt, but we do have, this is the top of the hour, so unfortunately we have to get going. But for anybody who is watching this and wants to get in touch with Shanta, please check out her Facebook community at facebook.com/groups/Tote the Destiny. Otherwise, you can look at Google search Tote the Destiny Academy or head to totethedestinyboutique.com. Obviously, this was the Reconnect with Your Teenager podcast, episode 3, because, you know, for me, I'm finding that one of the best ways for us to lead into 2023 specifically, but, you know, let's be real, every year I feel like is a new opportunity. Every day is a new opportunity to lead with love and lead with light, specifically when it comes to empowering and encouraging our teenagers. So on that note, thank you all for tuning in today, whether you are watching online, live on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, or if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere else that there are podcasts. I don't even know. There's so many different places. But my name is Emma G. I am a youth empowerment through songwriting coach. You can find out more about me at workwithemmag.com, purely because I believe that, much like Shanta here, we really need to encourage our young people to explore their voices, explore different ways of communication, explore and have fun with the different communication tools that we have. And music is just one of those fantastic ways that we can empower our young people to utilize their words cohesively, coherently, and powerfully. So if you are interested in learning more about that, head to workwithemmag.com. Otherwise, stay awesome, stay smiling, spread love, and remember to reconnect with your teenager at every possible opportunity. Every young person is one caring adult away. My hope and prayer is that you are that adult. Until next time, friends, peace.